One Question is designed to give subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences.
Greetings, this is Tai Brown and welcome to One Question. Let's pick up where we left off with Keri Becker, Director of Athletics at Grand Valley State University. Right now, let me ask a question about your background. You were a longtime head softball coach. You also were the compliance director. In the position you're in now, does that help you as you relate to coaches and as you motivate them? Because they may be disappointed as the coach. You know, coaches get disappointed too. Help them in their leadership development in those type situations.
Yeah, I think the number one thing when people say, what prepared you most to be an athletic director? And I will say unequivocally, the number one thing that prepared me was my 15 years as a head softball coach. And certainly my 4 years, and even I did 5 years because I played a little tennis in college, my 5 years as a student athlete. So I spent 20 years in college athletes as a coach and a student athlete and then coach. And I think it helped me because I've walked in the shoes of the people that I'm serving, which is ultimately our student athletes, and certainly the coaches, and can sit down and have kind of a chalk talk and really talk about the concept of winning and losing. It's not always just about budgets and compliance. It's certainly not their favorite thing to talk about with me, but I really like to talk about, things about the game, because I understand the nuances of the game. It's not always the case that the better team wins or the most talented team wins, and we talk about certainly, how we as coaches give our student athletes the best chance for success, and those are my favorite conversations. And so, hopefully somewhere along the way I've given a little bit of words of wisdom, and or maybe it's just that I can be a sounding board and let them vent, right? But then a little bit of it is okay, how can I help them? And we have a lot of conversations around coaching today's youth, around mental health, around dealing with expectations, around giving them the ability, again, to be successful, because it isn't always just about the X's and O's. And so, it goes to about people and having that holistic approach to coaching our student athletes. Because you can get all over them on their butt, but if you don't have a relationship with them, they're not going to respond. And if you have a relationship with them, you have to understand them as a person, as a human being in front of that. So, and that's where you establish credibility, and that's where you establish that relationship, so that you can guide them and push them to their limits, and get the most out of them, or give them the best chance, again, to be successful.
Right. Well, I'm sure the coaches and your staff there appreciate that when you ascended to the chair, that you didn't come in wanting to make wholesale changes to leave your own stamp, right? It's almost
right.
Like, let's double down on what we've been doing,
sure.
because this has helped us get to where we are.
Yeah, and I'm a mover and a shaker, and sometimes I like to do some things. So I decided I made decisions about some things that I think could have immediate impact to their success,
right.
But not like you said, a wholesale change to how they were doing things. And again, I try to get out of their way. I let them run their programs, and I just look at it, how can I help them run their programs? How can I be supportive? And so, I didn't change anything the way they did their programs. But, I tried to have impact on things that could help those programs from an administrative side. And again, as I think about being a year and a half in the chair, you dig into the weeds a little bit to wrap your arms around things and gain true understanding to a number of different things. Now I'm starting to come up and try to actually have more conversations with them that I just described, because I would come up out of the weeds a little bit and be there in a different capacity. But so then it's about finding that balance. They think, oh, you have a year and you must have your groove. No, I think I'm just now starting to find a rhythm and do that. But I think there's still a little, as much as you think you're prepared, there's still a little bit of a learning curve in terms of how you're going to be as a leader.
Well, I imagine whether a year and a half in or 5 or 6 or 12 years in, you'll probably still be tweaking and learning how to do some things better.
Oh, you bet. You bet. I mean, I'm always seeking, how can we do it better? How can we do it different? And I think that's kind of the way I'm wired.
All right. Well, Keri, I don't know many people at Grand Valley State, but I know many people who look at Grand Valley State from the outside looking in and really appreciate and respect the things you've done in the last year and a half to maintain the environment of success and even the changes you will make in the future will keep Grand Valley State successful.
I'll do my best.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you for joining us here on One Question.
Thank you.
That was Keri Becker. She's the Director of Athletics at Grand Valley State University, and this is Tai Brown with One Question. And keep in mind, the role of a leader is to create and maintain an environment that people want to be a part of. And as always, be better tomorrow than you are today. This episode of One Question is produced by Spades Media Group, solving problems using creative leadership.